This adventure-filled story begins with a lady sneaking into a stable, attempting to steal some horses. She was carefully carrying out her plan without anyone noticing. However, after a short while, the owner of the place, named Robin, arrived. As soon as Robin saw the unknown girl trying to steal, he caught her. However, he did not harm her and instead asked her about her intentions and where she belonged. The girl had come there in search of food and supplies for her family. She revealed her face and introduced herself as Mary. When Robin saw her up close, he found himself falling for her. Instead of punishing her, he extended a hand of friendship. Mary, who did not have many friends, started seeing Robin as a good companion. Over time, their bond grew stronger, and they began meeting frequently. Gradually, love started blooming between them. Robin eventually confessed his love to Mary, and she accepted his proposal. They decided to get married and settle down in the near future. But one day, Robin received a letter from the church. The church had called him to join a war against the Arabians. As it was his duty, he had no choice but to go and protect his people. Robin was an excellent archer, known for his perfect aim. That is why all the soldiers respected him. He was responsible for attacking the enemies from a distance. Forced by duty, he had to participate in the war. Feeling heartbroken, he told Mary, "Wait for me, I will return for you." Mary was deeply saddened, but Robin had to leave for battle. Several armies joined forces to fight their enemies, and Robin contributed equally. With his bow and arrows, he inflicted heavy damage on the opponents. Even though Robin's army was significantly outnumbered, each of their soldiers fought with the strength of 10 men. With great bravery, they continued to fight fiercely, causing severe damage to the enemy. As Robin was attacking. Just then, an enemy soldier approached to kill Robin. Robin was not very skilled in close combat, but luckily, one of his comrades arrived in time and saved him by killing the enemy. If not for his friend, Robin would have lost his life that day. Years passed as the war continued, and finally, they managed to capture the Arabian fortress. The small Arabian army was completely destroyed, and Robin's people took control of the area. Robin had spent many years away, and not a single day went by when he didn't think of Mary. He longed to end the war and return to her, to live the life he had dreamed of. However, something strange began to happen. Robin's leader started behaving oddly. He ordered his soldiers to kill innocent Arabian civilians. Since soldiers had to follow their leader's commands, they carried out his orders. One day, the leader commanded the execution of a small child. The boy's father pleaded with him to spare his son's life, but the leader saw all of them as enemies and believed they had to be eliminated. As the soldiers prepared to kill the boy, Robin intervened. He could not stand by and watch such cruelty. Their war was against the Arabian king and his soldiers, not against innocent people who had done nothing wrong. But now, Robin had openly defied his leader. Enraged, the leader ordered his men to capture Robin and take him away. Right before Robin's eyes, the innocent child was killed. Seeing Robin as a threat, the leader then took a bow and fired an arrow directly at him. The arrow struck Robin, leaving him gravely injured. Weak and unable to fight back, he collapsed to the ground. The leader no longer had any use for him, so he ordered Robin to be sent back. Severely wounded, Robin was placed on a ship and sent back to his village. As he journeyed home, Robin was filled with sorrow and regret. He had failed to save those innocent people. However, he tried to push aside his grief and focused on the one thing that still gave him hope, Mary. With excitement and relief, he made his way toward his village, eager to reunite with her. But as he arrived, his joy quickly turned to devastation. His home was completely destroyed. Robin was completely confused. Who had destroyed his home? None of his family members or Mary were there. He was devastated because he had to find them. Seeking answers, he went to a church and spoke to a priest. The priest revealed the harsh truth. Everyone in the village had believed that Robin was dead. News of his supposed death had spread, and as a result, the local leader had seized his home and forced his family to leave. According to the priest, Robin's entire family, including Mary, had been sent to work in a coal mining factory. These factories were located far away, so Robin, in a desperate attempt to find them, immediately set off on his journey. Despite everything, Robin was hopeful. He believed that Mary had waited for him all this time. The thought of finally seeing her after so many years filled him with excitement. He imagined their joyful reunion. When Robin arrived at the mining factories, he saw many workers spending most of their days toiling in harsh conditions. As he moved forward, his heart suddenly leaped. He spotted Mary. She looked more beautiful than ever. Overwhelmed with emotion, Robin hurried toward her. But just as he was about to reach her, another man appeared by her side. Robin watched in shock as Mary and this man exchanged affectionate words. She seemed genuinely happy with him. The sight was unbearable for Robin. He realized the painful truth. After hearing of his death, Mary must have remarried and moved on with her life. She had built a new life with another man. Heartbroken, Robin walked away in tears. His mind was in turmoil, filled with sorrow and confusion. Just then, a man named Ben stopped him. Ben was none other than the father of the boy who had been killed by Robin's former leader. Ben already knew everything about Robin. Understanding his pain, he explained how things worked in this place. The poor were treated cruelly, forced into labor, and suffered under the rule of the wealthy elite. Ben urged Robin to join him in standing against this injustice. They needed to unite and fight back, to show the rich and powerful their true place. Meanwhile, the sheriff of the area, the one who controlled everything, was making plans to increase the workers' taxes even further. The sheriff argued that the more taxes they collected, the better the town would become. Among the people affected were Mary and her husband. Mary's husband protested, saying, "We have already paid a lot of taxes. It's unfair to demand even more." But the sheriff ignored him and imposed the increased tax rate on everyone. Robin had also arrived in town by this time, carefully avoiding being seen by Mary. However, Mary had a feeling that Robin was alive and had returned. She felt a mix of happiness and sorrow. Deep down, she had always dreamed of spending her life with him. This meant that, despite everything, she still loved Robin. Robin, on the other hand, was furious at the sheriff's cruelty toward the people. He wanted to take action immediately, but Ben stopped him. Ben explained, "We need to work together. You can't do this alone." Over time, Ben and Robin became close friends, sharing their thoughts and plans with each other. Meanwhile, Mary was determined to find Robin. She asked around for his whereabouts and eventually reached the location where he was hiding, calling out his name. Robin wanted to meet Mary, but Ben stopped him. "No one should know about our plan," he warned. "If you meet Mary, you'll be distracted." Understanding the importance of their mission, Robin chose to prioritize his goal over his emotions and did not meet Mary. Ben then began training Robin, helping him refine his archery skills. With continuous hard work, Robin became an even sharper marksman. Along with improving his aim, he also learned defensive tactics and survival strategies. After intense training, Robin finally felt ready. He and Ben launched their first attack on the sheriff's tax collectors, men responsible for gathering the people's hard-earned money. Since these men worked for the sheriff, Robin targeted them relentlessly and seized their collected taxes. No one suspected that their own money had been stolen. Robin and Ben had a plan. They wouldn't keep the stolen money for themselves. Instead, they aimed to use it to shift the sheriff's and the town's management's attention toward them. The sheriff regularly held gatherings where tax money was collected. At one of these events, Robin showed up as a wealthy donor, having returned a significant amount of money. This instantly caught the sheriff's and other influential figures' attention. Seeing Robin's apparent wealth, the sheriff and his officials believed he was rich and powerful. As a result, they considered inviting him into their management circle. What they didn't realize was that the money Robin was donating was the very same money he had stolen from them. As Robin was leaving, Mary suddenly appeared in front of him. She wanted to talk to him, but Robin firmly told her that whatever was between them was over now. He said they had to move on with their lives. Tears welled up in Mary's eyes, showing that she still loved Robin. Just then, Ben signaled Robin, and he walked away. Mary was left standing there, heartbroken once again. Meanwhile, Robin, with Ben's help, continued stealing more tax money. He secretly left some of it at Mary's house, as she truly needed it. Mary was confused about who could have left such a large sum of money, but she considered it a gift from God and kept it. Robin kept stealing the tax money that had been unfairly collected. Soon, one of the sheriff's men reported to him that someone had been stealing tax money. A significant amount had been taken, and they had no idea who was behind it. The sheriff was shocked and immediately ordered tighter security around the tax funds to prevent further thefts. As the sheriff's man left to carry out his orders, he ran into Mary and told her that someone had been stealing the government's tax money. Mary responded that whoever was stealing the money was actually doing a good deed, returning the stolen money to the poor, to whom it rightfully belonged. Robin was nearby, listening to their conversation. Hearing Mary's words made him incredibly happy. From then on, every time he stole tax money, he made sure to donate half of it to the poor. Soon, people started to realize that an unknown person was returning their rightful money to them. Robin, because of his exceptional skills with a bow, became famous, and everyone began calling him Robin Hood. However, as the thefts increased, the sheriff began to suffer huge financial losses. Determined to put an end to it, he immediately called a meeting with his advisors to find a solution. Robin was also invited to this meeting, but the sheriff had no idea that Robin himself was the one behind the thefts. During the meeting, the sheriff clearly stated that the thief who was stealing their tax money had to be caught at any cost. Intense discussions began on how to do this. Realizing the urgency of the situation, Robin quickly went to Ben and told him everything. Robin started advising Ben that they needed to pull off a large-scale heist, one so big that it would wipe out all the tax money. Meanwhile, they learned that the entire tax collection was being moved to another location for security reasons. To create a distraction, Ben deliberately disguised himself and threw himself in front of the carriage carrying the money. This caused chaos, and the soldiers took Ben aside, giving Robin the perfect opportunity to sneak under the carriage. The carriage was headed straight into another palace, where security was extremely tight. Robin was carefully planning his next move to steal the tax money when one of the security guards spotted him. Suddenly, all the guards attacked Robin. He ran for his life, skillfully dodging their attacks and taking them down one by one. His fighting style was so unique and swift that no one could match him. But while trying to escape, Robin was struck by an arrow, leaving him injured. Struggling to move properly, Robin realized that he would have to abort the mission for now. He managed to escape to the other side, where Ben was waiting for him. The two of them retreated to their hideout to recover in safety. Although they hadn't been able to steal the large sum of money, Ben brought Robin good news: the leader of the church was coming. This was a highly influential man who oversaw the entire region's administration. Realizing this, Robin and Ben made a plan. No matter what, they had to win the leader's favor. To welcome the church leader, the sheriff hosted a grand party, inviting many prominent guests. The event was meant to honor the leader. At the party, Robin encountered a familiar face, an ally who had managed to steal some keys from a __. He discreetly handed these keys to Mary. Using them, Mary accessed a secret vault and stole several important documents. These documents contained highly classified information about various politicians and their dealings. Soon, the church leader made his grand entrance, and the sheriff welcomed him with great respect. However, Robin then intentionally brought his ally forward in front of everyone. Robin wanted to prove his loyalty, so he boldly declared in front of both the sheriff and the church leader that this man had attempted to steal something. The sheriff became furious and ordered the execution of the captured man. However, Robin quickly intervened, suggesting that instead of killing him, they should exile him from the church, as that would be the greatest punishment. Both the leader and the sheriff found this idea reasonable and agreed to it. In this way, Robin managed to win their trust. Believing that Robin was now their ally, they began discussing secret matters in front of him. The leader and the sheriff openly talked about their plan to overthrow the King of England and seize power for themselves. The sheriff assured the leader that with the help of his men, he would strip the people of their wealth and bring all the money to them. With such a vast amount of wealth, they could even enlist the support of the Arabians. Without wasting any time, the sheriff sent his soldiers to attack the people and rob them. Meanwhile, Mary handed over the stolen documents to her husband, hoping he could take action against the conspiracy. However, her husband dismissed her concerns, saying that such matters were for powerful men to handle and that they should stay out of it. The truth was, Mary's husband did not want to go against the sheriff because he himself aspired to take the sheriff's position one day. This led to a heated argument between them, and Mary began to walk away. Before she could leave, however, the sheriff's soldiers arrived, brutally attacking the people and stealing their money. The soldiers also captured Mary. At that moment, Robin and Ben appeared, fighting off the ruthless soldiers and rescuing Mary. They rushed toward a carriage to escape. As the carriage sped away, Mary kept looking at Robin Hood's face, trying to confirm her suspicion. Finally, she lifted his mask and realized it was Robin all along. By then, more and more soldiers had arrived, making it impossible to continue fighting. Ben urged Robin to take Mary to a safe place. Realizing it was the best option, Robin agreed and swiftly took Mary away from the chaos. Ben could never fight so many soldiers alone, so they brutally beat him and captured him, taking him to the sheriff. The sheriff kept interrogating Ben, demanding to know who Robin Hood really was. But Ben was so loyal that he refused to say a word. He didn't reveal anything about Robin Hood. Meanwhile, Mary's husband was shown acting as a leader. However, instead of encouraging people to fight, he advised them to leave the place. At that very moment, Robin Hood made his entrance. Everyone was stunned to see that their savior had arrived. When Robin removed his mask, people realized it was Robin all along. He had finally revealed his true identity to everyone. Robin motivated the people, telling them that if they united, they could fight against the sheriff's tyranny. Even Mary's husband was impressed and decided to join Robin in his cause. Robin then went to meet the priest who had been exiled from the church. After investigating the situation, the priest revealed that the sheriff was transferring all his treasure to another location. If they could steal that treasure from him, the sheriff would be left completely bankrupt. Robin and his allies decided to steal the treasure. The treasure was being transported under heavy security, but Robin had another plan. He planted a bomb in a specific location. When it exploded, all the gold would fall into an underground waterway, allowing his allies to transfer it elsewhere. As soon as the explosion occurred, the treasure fell exactly as planned. Robin's chosen men immediately began transporting the stolen wealth. But at that moment, the sheriff's soldiers launched a full attack. During the chaos, every person was fighting for their rights. Suddenly, an arrow struck Robin directly. He was badly injured. Mary rushed to his side and treated his wounds. There was still a visible love connection between them. When Mary's husband saw this, he realized that there was indeed something between the two of them. Mary healed Robin and then rushed to her husband because the soldiers had also attacked him. However, her husband was furious. He ordered Mary to leave. Meanwhile, Robin noticed that many of his allies were being killed. Realizing this, he decided to reveal his identity to the soldiers as well. He wanted them to take him instead of harming innocent people. The soldiers, filled with rage, captured Robin and took him to the sheriff's palace. The sheriff was shocked to discover that Robin himself was the infamous Robin Hood, who had been deceiving them all along. The sheriff called in more soldiers, seemingly to execute Robin. But before Robin could be killed, one of the soldiers suddenly started attacking the others. It was none other than Ben, who had arrived just in time to help Robin. Ben wounded many of the soldiers and even threw the sheriff aside. Together, Robin and Ben finally killed the sheriff, restoring order and peace. According to their plan, all the stolen treasure was now in the hands of the people, who could use it for their development. There was no longer a need to worry about money. However, after the sheriff's death, Mary's husband was enraged. He had always desired the sheriff's position, and now that it was vacant, he wanted to claim it. With the help of a priest, he followed all the formal rules and officially became the new sheriff. As the new sheriff, he began manipulating the people, convincing them that Robin was a threat. He warned them that if Robin wasn't stopped, he would eventually turn against everyone. In short, he was provoking the people against Robin Hood. Robin watched everything from a distance. In response, he shot an arrow into a poster, which shocked Mary's husband. The message was clear: Robin had accepted the challenge. This marked the beginning of an internal battle between Robin and Mary's husband. Robin had learned never to give up and vowed to keep fighting against evil to bring justice to the people. And with that, our story comes to an end.